Hello everyone, it's Marie from Skeletorama again. Welcome back to my channel. Came out of house shift. How's everybody doing? So, doing good. Figured I would go back to doing some of the journal stuff today, since I did my huge, long, epic mini-series of a Santos doll project. I will not say that this is going to be quick and easy, because if I do, this will be 17 parts. So yeah, I'll do my best. So, all right. What we're going to do today is we are going to work on some of the pages in here. So now if you remember, we had in here the magazine page where I really like this side, but not so much this side. So see, it's not that it's bad or anything, it's just it's not very exciting, right? So we're going to do something with this. And what we're going to do comes courtesy of Gail Agostinelli, go figure. And so I was watching her channel on Easter Sunday, and she had gotten some of the new Tim Holtz stuff, and she's playing with it. And it's always nice to watch, because when I look at the Tim Holtz stuff, like say the worn wallpapers, I look at them from a mixed media perspective, because that's what I use them for, right? So I think of something like this, right? So I'm going to cover the box with this, or use it as peeling wallpaper or something. But she looked at it from a junk journal perspective, which was fantastic, because as soon as she did, my jaw dropped, because she looked at these and went, oh, 5 by 8, this is the perfect size for a journal page. Well, she's right. It is. So let me grab my journal out again. I'll just grab just a random page here. And one of the worn wallpapers, and well, hot damn, would you look at that? It fits perfectly, because she's a genius. And so I had an epiphany, or as we call it in my house, an apostrophe, because we're a bunch of smartasses. But I thought, that's how we can cover those pages. We can do maybe some gesso on them, and then do like she did with it. She used it and she made a pocket with it. So I've pulled out a little bit of ephemera and things. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to be using the Tim Holtz worn wallpapers. I only have the Halloween, go figure, you know, because it's me. And there were a couple of them that did have kind of a green base to them. So it was this one and this one here. And so I figured we could use these. These will match with the color scheme of it. And then I did pull out a couple pieces of ephemera from the kits. And I can't remember if it's the add-on kit or the main kit. But I do have the pictures on Etsy. I show all of the pages on there so that people can make an informed decision. But found this one here and that one there. So I thought, oh, this would be perfect for those pages. And then maybe like a Tim Holtz people or something on here, and some stuff underneath them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make some pockets out of these. So first thing we're going to need to do is we are going to need to prep our pages. And this is always the scary part, right? Because they're already in the journal. If I screw up, they're in the journal. And yeah, it could be bad, but we're also going to protect it very well. So let's find our magazine page. And you know what? Let's do the one towards the back first, because it's going to be on the right-hand side, so it'll be a little easier to deal with. Okay, there we go. I'm going to take a clip, and I'm going to clip a chunk of these pages together so we don't have any unfortunate incidents of them, you know, flopping over and getting this into gesso, because that would make me very upset. Also want to protect this page here, so I am going to put some paper towel over it like this, just to be on the safe side. And then of course we want to protect stuff underneath it. So for that, I'm just going to use a piece of copy paper under it. Okay, so this is magazine page. Magazine page is glossy. It's fairly water resistant, so I'm not worried about anything soaking through to the other side. But it is really easy to slip and miss and get it on your cover or something. So it's always best to be cautious. All right, so I'll kind of scoot that up just a little bit, just so I can see. So what we're going to use on it first is gesso. So you can use any type of gesso that you want. This is just an older one I have I'm getting rid of, slowly but surely. But what gesso does is it's going to give us, you know, a more even surface. It's going to kind of cover some of this. The first go round probably won't. You'll still be able to see through it. So we may do about 2 coats on there. And then we'll have some other options for coloring it. I've got paint out, I've got mica sprays, I've got gilding wax, I've got all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. First, we're going to cover this with gesso. So of course I will fast forward as I do that, but again, this is going to give it something for these things to grab onto. It's going to protect the page so we can actually move these around. So we could take these and basically finger paint with them at that point, as opposed to having them soak into something. And even though this has a glossy surface, it will kind of soak into it. Okay, so I'll put it on fast forward whilst I do this part. Alright, so there's this one done. This is also a great way if you have a journal and you want to use it as an art journal. It's a great way to make your base for an art journal page as well. You just make sure you protect everything, and most of the pages can stand up to it just fine. So we're going to let this dry a bit, and then I'll come back and hit it with a second coat. And I think once this dries and the second coat dries, I'll go do the other one as well, just so y'all don't have to sit through it, so it's not a 17-hour video. And then I will join you guys back. Alright, so these seem to be fairly dry here. I went ahead and put the clip so that I can go directly to the other one. Yay! So I'll show you what that one's looking like here. And then I've just got the paper just in case I didn't gauge dryness correctly, because that wouldn't be the first time. So now we can decide what we want to do with it. Now the cool thing is our page that we're going to put on here, it's going to cover up most of this. Like, well, then why are you going to mess with it? Well, you'll still be able to see a little bit under here. So we'll probably go about halfway. Oh, knowing me, I'll cover the whole damn thing. But if, let's say we cover the whole thing and it looks really cool and we want to leave it, we can always put this on another page, not a big deal. So, but we definitely want to get like the borders around here as opposed to leaving it like that stark white, okay? So that's what we are going to do, and we have a bunch of different choices. So I've got the mica spray. This is Lindy's Emerald, eh? It's one of the other Canadian named ones. So that's kind of a nice dark green, but don't be fooled, because it's not going to be anywhere near that color because they dry black so much. I've also got a tiny bit of my cut grass Dilution shimmer spray in here. That is a darker green. Move that out of the way, get that shadow off of there. Alright, then I have the Antique Brilliance Wax. So this is the one that has like the antiquing component to it. With these though, when you put it on white, you're going to see more of the antiquing than you are the green. The green really pops on black, but I didn't want to do black gesso on these. And then I have some of the Art Alchemy paints. So we've got Dark Forest, we've got Golden Moss, and then Sparks, which is a lot more translucent, and Fairy Wings. So we'll do probably a combination of things with it. If we do decide to go with the mica sprays, of course they are not, the mica will still continue to come off. So I do have my Distress Glaze just in case that happens and we decide to do that. But I'm not really sure how this will go with gluing over it. I haven't tried that, so that may kind of keep me from wanting to do the mica spray. We'll see. And I was, a little bit thinking ahead because, I try. And so I did put just a little bit of gesso, hardly any, on this, and did some of these over the top of it to see kind of how they look. And the really weird one is the Lindy's, because you see it did like a lighter green here, but a darker over here. This is actually Distress Oxide spray, the new, what the heck's the name of that color? Rustic Wilderness. So it's the new Rustic Wilderness one. It's kind of meh on that. This is the Antique Brilliance. So see how it's really brown, which is kind of not what we want as the background of this, even though when you turn it, can you see how it turns green in the light? But I don't want to have to rely on it being in the right light, you know what I'm saying? So I think we're probably going to go with the paints. And so we'll do these two, and then maybe some of the Sparks over the top of it to give it kind of some interest. after that, I think. I don't know. And this technique is very much something that I picked up from watching Artie Mays. She does a lot of stuff, and she makes beautiful, beautiful things, but she does a lot of mixed media on her pages. So she does a lot of painting and stuff like that, and it just comes out so pretty. So will mine? I don't know. Maybe. Might be okay. So I think what we're going to do is, since we have the gesso on here, we'll be able to move it around. So I'm going to brush some on, and we'll start with the edges. And I want both colors. So we'll start on this outer edge, I think, so we don't take a chance of this drying before we can blend it. And I'll brush it on, and I'll take my finger and I'll kind of smush it around so it really blends those colors but still leaves them kind of separate, if you know what I mean. So, dun dun dun. It's always the scary part. And let's see, I've got some different brushes. I don't want to be too ambitious right at first, so we'll use like this, these size. I should probably use 2 different brushes for the 2 different colors, you think? Okay. Wow. So we'll just do a little bit of this here, down the side. And then some of this here to kind of accent and give it that sort of mottled, because this brings in a little bit of gold too. It's got gold undertones for sure. Okay, and then just a little bit of water on my fingers, since acrylic paints are water soluble, and we'll just kind of smush these around. Should put just a tiny bit more water in my jar. That would have helped. All right, so I'll smush these. Because, yeah, they're drying real quick on me. I had a feeling it was going to do that. So the water will kind of, I'm getting to them before they're completely dry. And my apologies, I doubt I could edit that plane out. Bastards. Okay, so there's that. We'll let this kind of dry a little bit. We'll come back to it and see how we like that, whether we want to add some more to it. Probably, actually, you know what? I'll just grab some more of the dark green while I'm sitting here. And we'll just finger paint this. So there's a little too much of that concentrated in there. Same with this bottom part here. My water kind of made it a little too light for me. Now you can see why I have this paper down here too. All right, so there we go. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry and see how that looks. I'll be back with you guys in just a few minutes to decide if we want to do anything else to it. All right, so this has had a chance to dry a little bit, and the, I think probably 16 planes that went over had time to go over. They must be doing some sort of training stuff for the military right now, because they were fighter jets and those suckers are loud. But anyway, so I'll kind of pull this away so you can see the edge a little bit better and sort of lift this up and see how it's got that different colors. You can sort of see the metallic to it. So I do like the way this is coming out. So we'll go ahead and do the whole thing of it. And that one I will obviously fast forward through, especially because if those planes went and landed over there, they'll be back in a few minutes. So it always works that way. So I'm going to continue on with these two here and do this. And then once the whole thing is dry, then we will look at doing the sparks. But the nice thing is when we did this little bit, it kind of showed me that it's best to just skip the brush and just use your finger. Much easier. And it's going to come out the way I want it anyway, and I don't have to worry about it drying. So that's what I'm going to do. that dry and I'm gonna go wash my hands because yeah, seriously, paint everywhere. But I'm liking it so far, and hey, I didn't hit the other edge too badly. A little bit, but it's okay. All right, I'll be right back. So this looks fairly dry here. I'll kind of lift it up in the light because it's a little misleading the way it's showing it, at least on my screen over there. Because it kind of looks like I've missed spots. I haven't. It's just the way the light's reflecting off the different things. Look at that, it's massively metallic stuff. Okay, but it's very dark. So I'm gonna put a little bit of the sparks on it. Gonna do the same thing. Gonna use my hand and just put a little bit here and there just to kind of add a little bit of highlight to it, break some of the dark color up. As you can see, this is a much lighter. It's very translucent, but gives some good sparkle to stuff. So that lightened it up quite a bit and added some different texture. I don't know why I was concerned with doing the whole thing because, you know, it's going to be covered. But again, I'll go wash my hands and I will be back. And once this dries, we can start playing with it. Okay, so this is fairly dry-ish. With these acrylic paints, it does stay a bit tacky for a while. So I'm going to sit it over to the side for a few minutes here. But so I'll bring it up a little closer. Wow, look at the shine on that. So you can see I did get a couple little spots here. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it would have been, though, had I continued this motion, forgetting that this was stuck in there because it would have torn it. But anyway, so we've got a lot of nice gold and green going on with this. Very loud. So our wallpaper page, again, is going to be in here, and it's going to have this as the background. So it's going to, you know, obviously tone things down a bit. So I'm going to set this off to the side and move a little bit of stuff. And once this is completely dry and everything's good, and maybe even once we have the thing on there, we'll do the other one. And I think we'll do the other one with the sprays, just for something different. So I'm going to move this and I'll be right back. Right, so while our first page is over there drying, we can go ahead and get started on our pockets. So this is the worn wallpaper itself. It's really cool. It's nice and thick, and it's got a wallpaper texture. I don't know if you can see any of the texture on that, but it's got kind of a, see if you can hear it. But anyway, it's got that sort of a texture to it. So like I said, I've got this piece here and this piece here. Actually, I think I like them this way around. Because this looks more like a wall, and like maybe this cabinet card's hanging on the wall or something like that. And so these are going to be pockets. So we are going to cut a circle, and then we're going to use that circle for something interesting, because I want to see, do I want to do distress ink around the edges of the pockets, or do I want to use this? Because this is going to come out with more of that, you know, brown anyway, but then when you turn it, it'll be kind of green. So that way I'm going to test it on that. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got one of them, it's going to be on our right-hand page. Look at that, I still have paint on my nails. One will be on the right-hand page, one will be on the left-hand page, and we want our pockets to be coming from the outside in, because it'd be too hard to put something in, you know, from the spine area. So we'll just do a circle on this side and a circle on this side, and this can go in one, that can go in the other. It doesn't really matter. So I have my 1 3/4 inch circle punch here, and I like these ones that go flat. Make my life easier. So we can actually do these both at the same time. And we're just going to cut our little notch out of here. Woo! Dump those down. Okay. And did I do what I thought I did? I did, but haha, thank God. Okay, save me from myself. What an idiot, right? Okay, so I've got my little things here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these, and I'm going to distress ink. And of course, it being Tim Holtz, it's going to distress beautifully. So that's how it looks with the distress ink. So let's see what it looks like if I put this on here. Just curious. I don't want to commit and then screw it up. All right, so we'll take this and a little bit on the finger here and just kind of do the edges of it. How does that look? Yeah, it looks kind of okay, but you know, I really just like the distress ink. I think it's a bit too much for it, but that's why I like to test it out on this versus this. So I think I do have one more sheet of each of those in case I mangle it too badly, but yeah, so we'll just distress ink them. I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll fast forward as I do that. So these ones I've already distressed on there after I cut them out, and I went and cut, you know, even the little tears on this one because I thought it'd be cool. All right, so let's see, we need this one this way. This has a direction, this one doesn't, thank God. And you will notice if you watch enough of the videos that I do, see, I'm doing it again. I'm like Alice from Alice in Wonderland, right? I give myself very good advice, but I very seldom follow it. So like in the Santos doll video, I talked about how you want to stamp before you gessoed. And then I promptly forgot I'd said that, like some sort of puppy or something, and gessoed it and then stamped it. And then of course the pigment ink went, and you know, it's like, well, if I'd listened to myself, it wouldn't have done that. So yeah, if you're watching the video and I'm like, hey, do this thing, and then you watch me ignore it and do something else, number one, it's just going to happen. I can't help it. It's the ADD that does that. But if I then don't like the result of it, just know that that's why I had told myself to do that in the beginning. All right, so anyway. So we're going to have her here for this facing pocket, and then we have this facing the other way, damn it. We'll put this one on here. So I do have some stuff we can use to kind of decorate underneath it. Of course, I do have all of my pages from my kit on Etsy. This one, this is how you know my yellow is going out, because when you make brown, and I print a lot of brown, you use yellow and purple together, make brown, right? Well, it's got kind of a purple cast to it, which is unfortunate because I was thinking this one would be great because it's got this ship here. And so this is a wood print of immigrants leaving Cork for Liverpool. So it's people having to leave Ireland on the boat. But, you know, I do have the original page, so maybe I'll grab that here in a second. But we've also got, you know, I've got the maps on here. These are kind of nice. And then, of course, the book text. So all sorts of stuff we can pick from to go under there. Some music pages, dictionary pages, that sort of thing. Let me grab the actual page because the actual page is much smaller than this, and it might work even better. So give me a second. All right, so as you can see, here's the page from the kit, and here's the original page. A little bit of difference there in size and in color, because again, I need to replace my yellow toner cartridge. And this actually might work better with this. So I was thinking of, you know, tear it out and have it under here. Because if you look, this is a certificate for passage from Derry, or Londonderry, depending on which way you go politically, to Rochester, Pennsylvania. And so it's got their ocean fare, their inland fare, $75. Like seriously? That would be amazing. Except, you know, they had a habit of sinking, so maybe not so amazing. But this was for this person and wife and infant. So whether they were emigrating, whether they were just going to visit, the fact that they're in third class tells me they weren't on a holiday trip. They probably were emigrating. So I figured that would be appropriate with this. So yeah, we're just going to commit and we're going to tear the ship out. I'm trying to avoid the last words of the song because I do like those here. Okay, so we've got this here, and maybe this ship can go here. We'll take this bottom part off because since he's going from Derry, we don't want him, you know, the thing saying he's leaving from Cork or anything. They're in very different places. All right. Look at that kind of edges on there. I'll go ahead and distress that. even though it's been coffee dyed as well, but I like to ink all the things. It's what I like. All right, here we go. So this will sit here, I think. And then I did, so I've got my book here that I made to hold on my Tim Holtz people. So I can actually see them. These things are brilliant. I don't know who came up with this whole ephemera holder idea, but thank you, because I was able to make myself a way to find these things. So I went through here and I looked for, what I was looking for was like a family of 3, right? And since I don't have a ton, well, I mean, I do have a ton, but a lot of them are Halloween and Christmas. I found this one. This was the closest I could get, and that's from the Christmas one, so they're all bundled up. But hey, maybe it was winter, who knows? Even though, you know, it says July. Just ignore that. Again, it's July in Ireland, so it may be really, really cold. Who knows? Okay, so we can have maybe these guys here and this here. I don't know that it needs much else, but I do like the bottom of this here. So I'll tear this piece off with the text. Okay, and it says, "Oh, the sun is on the harbor, love, and I wish I could remain, for I know it will be a long, long time before I see you again." And it really goes with this, because, you know, the people who emigrated from Ireland to the U.S. didn't always do so, you know, willingly. And I know there's confusion, you know, with people in Ireland. They're always mystified why Americans are so proud and rabidly proud to be Irish, Scottish, same thing. And it's because our ancestors didn't come here by choice, right? And so that's been passed down. And so, yes, it's a huge deal, Irish or Scottish heritage, any of the Celtic ones, Welsh. That's the motherland, you know, so that's your home. And so these people don't look very happy. But then again, if they were leaving Ireland to come here, I wouldn't be happy either, because seriously, this place is a mess. Okay, and it was kind of a mess back then too. So I think we'll go with this, although I do want some kind of contrast on here. I don't think I want to do the gilding wax. Maybe like a copper, just to kind of set it off just a little bit. And then, you know, this can be up at the top here. I think that's busy enough for that one. So we'll set this one to the side. So now we've got this one. So this one is a little more, you know, Victorian, elegant cabinet card. How did they walk in those things? I would so eat it down a flight of stairs and be one of those ghosts, you know. So how'd she die? She was getting a snack and she slipped and fell down the stairs. That'd be me. Or I'd be one of those people that light myself on fire. It's fireplace. But anyways, so with this, probably, let's look at the scrap of paper that I have left. So these are the scraps that I have from some of the other stuff that we did. So let's pull these guys out, because I think the bow bunny might work nice. Which is this, the double dot vintage, because this looks very much like wallpaper as well. So I'm going to go ahead and tear this because I will probably use it. It's not a big deal. I'm not missing anything but the branding strip. I really need one of those tear rulers. That'd be so nice to have. Okay. "17 weeks later." Okay, there we go. So maybe like up under here for a little bit of contrast. I don't think we want it under the whole thing. Well, it won't fit under the whole thing, but I mean, I could grab 2 pieces and make it fit, but I think it would look best just like a little accent on the side. And then I do have fabric strips, so let's look at those too. Okay, so I don't know that any of these are necessarily wide enough, but that's okay. Let's see, let's look at this one. Because I do have the actual fabric. If I wanted to do, say, like a fabric frame around there, I totally could. Let's pull this out and see. Maybe have some of this. I want the orange poking out for some contrast towards the top. So yeah, maybe that underneath that. Don't need to go too crazy with it. All right, we'll go ahead and cut a little bit of this off because again, it's not like I can't find a way to use it if I change my mind. So do that. And in addition to the dark green, we also do have some of the light green left. I think that's too, I like the dark green with it because it really pulls in that. What else do I have? Yeah, see these really do not go with that. Okay, so we won't even give those a second glance. Okay, get these put away. All right, so let's get this aside and this aside and tear this down just a little bit more. And remember, if you want to, see how you've got the white there? The side you don't want the white core, that side comes up. So you'll tear that up this way, and the side that went down, you'll have more of a white core on. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. And you have to be really old to get that commercial reference. Okay, and then I think I want to go kind of narrow and tapered with this. I think I like that the best. All right, so let's try that. And if not, we've got the other one that we can use. We'll put this a little more this way here and put her here. Yeah, no, we need a little bit more. Scoot that over. Maybe have this here. We may end up losing the fabric. Yeah, we're going to lose the fabric. Okay, so I like it better this way. It's just a little more, almost looks like different layers of wallpaper or something there. So now we do still have the things that we made in the previous video, the little texture clusters that we can use for insta texture and excitement. So I did grab a couple of these and set them off to the side. This can just kind of go under either this one, maybe this one. Although this is set up a little more for that way, but it doesn't matter. We'll put it whatever the hell way we want. It's our journal. Okay. Yeah, I think I might go with the cluster, and that one's a bit matchy-matchy, plus my text is going the wrong way, so I think this one might win. Let's see if I have any others. And I did save a bunch of the stuff here, the little ruffle business. So if I wanted to make one, if I thought, you know, this would be absolutely perfect with insert XYZ of this stuff here, I can always make another one. So, but these ones, when I looked at it the first time, they're a bit noisy for this with the fabric. Although that one looks kind of cute. Yes, maybe. This one actually looks pretty good too. Okay, I'm a big liar. They weren't all noisy. That one is. And that one, yeah, that's just not, doesn't fit well with it. And this one, as much as I love this, this just doesn't kind of go with the colors of that. All right, so, you know, I actually kind of like that one the most. Now, probably because I really wanted to use the fabric that's on it. But it does give it that, it adds that orange in there and brings that in there. So I think it was between that one and this one. That one's cool and all, but this one just looks, yeah, it matches the same color tones and it brings the orange in, even though the text is sideways, who cares? So we'll do that. We'll put our little strip back over here in the strip pile. And I think that's probably all this needs, maybe some book page. And no, it won't be all of this book page. That'd be silly. I was just wondering how it would look with any of the map. I don't know that the map would work. Bet it would work on that, but we got enough stuff on that. We need to stop with that one. Well, this map here, it's more of an ordnance survey, but it would bring in some of that orange color. I'm just going to make it a little easier to maneuver. You know, say maybe a strip of it here. Tear this down a little bit. That way we have more of the flag colors in there. Okay, move that one. Let's see, does that do anything? No, that really clashes with the back. Okay, I had a feeling it was gonna, but I thought I'd try anyway. All right, so we've got the Gaelic pages and Gaelic. My bad, because it's Irish. Seriously. One of those ones I always mess that up, but there we go. All right, so we have this here as well. So we'll just kind of take a piece of this. Oh, I want to go a little farther over. Luckily, we're gluing it down, so we can totally do that. And there's a word I wanted to leave in there. Idiot. Okay. And no, I'm not going to go reprint it because I'm lazy, idiot. Okay. So put this here and just kind of do a rough, how does it look with the book page? Looks pretty good, actually. So I do want it a lot thinner, though. Just kind of like a little strip through there. And again, these are part of the postcard and paper sets that I have on Etsy as well. And then we'll kind of do this up here a little bit. Okay, there we go. And then just maybe have a little bit of the text here, kind of off to the side, because we don't want to do it framey. Have it in the center. That looks pretty good in the center too. Yeah, the word I wanted to leave was autumn soul. We'll scoot that up. Yeah, you know, it looks kind of better, kind of forming the edge of that one there a little bit. Okay, so I think that's really all this one needs as well. I'm trying to make it a little simpler here. I don't know if I want to do some of this too. We'll tear off a little piece of this just because. Let's see. There. Maybe do 2 levels of the book page. Looks kind of weird because it's not poking out of the bottom too. Where are you? Are you big enough to poke out of the bottom? You are not. Yeah, we'll just stick with the one. Yep, I think we'll stick with that one. Okay. So I am going to fast forward as I ink the edges of all the stuff, and then we will start putting some stuff together. This one I think I will go ahead and take this and do the copper wax around the edges just to help it kind of stand out, pop out a little bit without having to put a bunch of stuff behind it because we've already got enough stuff on that one. Okay, so there's all the little bits for all of these. So let's go ahead and start gluing some of these down. And then I went ahead and left this straight because I'm going to line it with the top so that that's straight, and then we'll be cutting this off. So we'll hit that with some Distress ink once we've done that. So for that, I'm just going to use the regular tacky glue. You can use art glitter glue, Fabri-Tac, whatever you want. I wouldn't use glue stick, just unless you were going to sew around it. I'm not planning on sewing around it. But glue stick, I don't know that I would trust with heavier weight paper. Just kind of get the edges of it. And I have no idea how far down it goes. So we may have to add a little glue, or we may have to wipe some off. It'll be one of those. Just a little bit farther over. And you have a second, but not a lot, as you can see. Well, more or less at the top, but unfortunately I'm committed now. All right, let's do this one. Okay. And this one I'm going to set her up here just so I know about what height I want to go for this. We'll get that set down there. It's coming up a little bit, so I didn't quite get to the edge with it. Okay, there we go with that. And then same with this. Put her down about there. Press that down real good. And this, of course, is the quilling bottle with precision tips. So it's going to work a lot like the art glitter glue one does, but you don't have to mess with the pin. You don't have to mess with any of that stuff. Makes it a little bit easier. You can fill these with whatever glue you want, so you can totally put art glitter glue in that. Because I know that's the complaint most people have is dealing with the little pin, and it'll get rusted and whatnot. So let's cut this off here. And yes, I grossly misjudged how far down I needed to go, so I'll need a little bit more glue on this. All right, there we go. That's better. And you know, if you're doing one of these journals, the Irish one, the Scottish one, Welsh one, whichever, they are designed to be heritage journals, which is why the Scottish one is not, you know, Outlander themed, as much as I would love to have a bunch of men in kilts on there, because that would be fantastic. But my other half would be very upset, I think, number one, if I did that. But you know, you can use, if you have any pictures of, you know, if you're doing this for, say, your Irish part of the family and you're an American, you can put those in here, and actually have the history. If your family immigrated over in the 1800s, instead of using the one from the kit, if you go on Ancestry.com, they have a lot of these things where people have scanned them in, and you can get the one from your actual family when they came over, or the passenger list, or what have you. My family were mostly Ulster Scots, so my Irish is more Scottish than it is Irish. And we didn't come over as immigrants in the 1800s. They were here 1622 to 1735. Everybody came over pretty much. But it was more like oh crap, we need to go to Ireland because the English are going to kill us, and then oh crap, we need to go to America because the English found us over here and they're going to kill us. So, you know, they were Highlanders. So as you can imagine, in the 1730s and 40s, things didn't go very good for Highlanders. Still a little upset about that. Okay, so I'm going to use Fabri-Tac on this just because it's got this stuff here, and we want to make sure it holds down nice and tight. Because I don't trust the PVA glue with it. And my apologies throughout my video series for the number of times I've called that PVC glue. I just want to punch myself every time I hear that. I know it's PVA glue, but my brain gets going and my mouth is just like, I'm not talking to you anymore. All right, so there is this one. So we're going to let this dry here. And we will start on this one here. So let's see, we want to put the ship down first. Over here in the corner. But yeah, it'd be totally cool to do this with, you know, your own family's memorabilia. Obviously not the original stuff, but having, you know, copies of it. This ancestry has improved over the years as far as the amount of resources that they have, and so many more people are using it, especially with the little DNA testing and stuff, that there's a lot more cool stuff you can find on there. I think my family tree's up to about 1,400 people-ish. And I only did grandparents. So I left out aunts and uncles and things. But it's really neat. Glue this part down here. Yeah, my big project is to find a way to put a family tree in a book that makes sense, so that you could look at it and see, you know, not just relative X, but, you know, read a little about their life, but have it make sense to navigate without being huge. Because, you know, first couple pages, like say your parents and your grandparents, that's small, you can put on a page, but man, by the time you get out there, there's so many people on there, it's really hard to try to fit them on a page. And I wrote down everything on these little like genealogy family tree sheets that I got. It was an Excel or Word or something thing. And yeah, each side is like, I don't know, 30 something pages, because they just expand. All right, got that there. And this here. So yeah, if anybody's done any kind of family tree in book form, how the heck did you do it in a way that wasn't ridiculously huge? I would love to know, because that's originally what I was going to do in the heritage journals when I made them for me. But yeah, I still can't wrap my head around a way to do that where it makes sense. All right, so I get these guys down here, and press that down real good. So yeah. Thank you, Gail, for the incredibly great idea. Which is why I love watching that kind of stuff too, because, you know, that's my brain will be set looking at an art supply in a specific way. Like, oh yeah, you use that for mixed media. You can use it for anything. And it never dawned on me, yeah, these are the exact perfect size. You don't have to cut them. They're brilliant. So there we go. There are our two pockets there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to straighten my desk up a little bit, and then I'm going to go get the journal and our page that's drying, and then we will see if that's nice and dry. We can do the other page. I think I'm going to do that in, not that, that's blue, moron. We'll do it in the Starburst spray, see how that comes out. If it's too light, then we can go over the paint with the paint and pretend we never did it. But that way it's different. You know, I don't want everything quite the same. So we can try something slightly different. So I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, so we are back to the book. And I've got this on here just because, again, this does stay tacky for a little while. Sometimes I'll even put the stuff you use for embossing. This is anti-static powder. I'll even put that on it to kind of absorb some of the sticky, but I mean, it hasn't been drying super duper long either, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this back on here, and now we can turn our attention to this page. So this one, just to make it easier, because I'm right-handed, I'm going to take the book and I'm going to turn it upside down, because we're just doing color on it, so it really doesn't matter which side up it is, honestly. And we've got our paper towel again to protect this page. And I think we will use the sprays. Now, here's the thing with these. And same goes if you want to do an art journal page in your journal. These are very, very, very liquidy, obviously. So you have to be extremely careful here. Because even though you may not hit your page, if you let too much liquid build up on here, gravity's going to take it right down here, and it's going to soak through a bunch of your other pages. and then it'll bleed out into these pages as well. So you do want to be very careful with that. So I'm going to use a brush for most of it, I think. Although, let me turn it this way because I do want to spray some of it and see how that looks with the dilution spray. So I'll have this here as my little moat. You know what? Let's kind of fold it and do this because I don't need to hit that bottom part of it just yet. And this is mica, so I'm going to shake this up. Now, the key is this going to actually cooperate and spray? Let's see after the debacle with the steam binding. Oh, look at it go. Okay, see, it's... Sometimes I do that as reverse psychology against my art supplies, you know. Thinking, okay, maybe they'll work if I talk smack about them before I use them. Sometimes that works. And I have green all over my hands now. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to leave this paper towel here. We're going to let that kind of dry a tiny bit. And I need one for my hands. Seriously. Yeah, and just like it's Distress Ink cousins, it's water reactive. So if you put water, it'll move all over the place. But you get on your hand and the stuff won't come off. I don't understand that. I just don't get it. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a few minutes and dry, and I'll be right back with you. And just a quick note, if you can see this one here, see that little drop that's trying to make a break for the spine? I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Just so, because it's going to take every extra bit of that with it. So we just want to keep it from soaking into that spine. Okay, got it. Okay, and so this is obviously nowhere near dry. Words are hard. But I do want to kind of hit this corner a little bit more here. And yes, these sprays will get everywhere. So, all right, I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna go for this bottom part here, and then just watch for any of those raindrop-like ones that's coming down, and try to catch those before they can collect in the center of it. The nice thing is on the other side of the center is the other one of these pages, so it should be able to fight absorbing that if a little bit does get down there. Okay, and again, it's not super dry, but it's dry enough where we can add a little bit more to it. And so I want to use some of the Pure Sunshine as well, because again, this journal is very green and gold. So let's see if this one allows me to spray. I've shaken it up. When you shake these up, always have the cap, because see how there's bits on here? That's when you find out that, you know, little bits coming out of the top. I've done that and worn half of it. So let's see if this will spray for me. Oh, look at that go. Okay, that's way too liquid, so we're here to catch that. But there we go. What the hell is going on with the top of this thing? All right. There's probably a little clog like at the top part of it, and it's shooting that spray just in a completely different direction than I'm wanting it to be, but all right. Let's just fill it up. See, look, I got leprosy. All right. And this, again, this is why I have this here. So that way when this stuff comes running down, it will catch on here before it gets to any of the other pages to damage them. And we do want to get obviously to this side of the page as well, because as you can see it's still pretty white, but we'll be doing that with the Lindy's, because the Lindy's we're going to use a brush for. So let's just keep going, and these will react with each other and kind of carry each other and blend as well. So I have taken some of the Lindy's Emerald, shaken it up. Of course you have to do that every time you use mica. And I've got it in here. And so now let's see if we can do this without me spilling it, shall we? Yay, okay, and we're going to do it this way. Kind of prop this up a bit. But I don't have anything to actually prop it up with. Okay, so we're going to be very brave with this, which is probably foolish, but that's okay. This will let it kind of not maybe have a tendency to go there as much. So this we're going to brush on. I'm just going to get a little bit on here. We're going to start these outer edges just so I can see what it does. But I do want to get these center parts in here very, very lightly. that way it doesn't bleed through to anything else. And again, since you're doing it with a brush, you can really control it, but this will, just like the other stuff, kind of reactivate things. And even though it looks really super dark in there, it's not super dark when you put it on, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Sometimes I wanted it to be really dark and it's not, but so we're just going to add a little bit of color to this just to make up for all the other spots that we missed, and but do it in a controlled manner as opposed to the gold spray. I still don't know what's going on with that. It's got to have a clog somewhere. But yeah, it went off in all kinds of directions I wasn't expecting, so that was fun. Okay. Not going to take much. Let's get all these little areas down here where I had the paper towel. That's kind of what I'm going for, so it's all over color. Okay, so now that I'm going to let dry for a little while, and I'll be back with you when this is completely dry, so we can see if we need to add anything else to it, as far as maybe another layer of the color or whatever. Yeah, and then if not, we can go ahead and put our book pockets in as I spot another area that I want to hit with this. All right, there we go. I swear I'm stopping now. Seriously, stop. Just stop. Walking away. All right, so this is already more or less kind of dry-ish, sort of, not in the center, but it doesn't matter because the center is not part we're going to see. And it is a bit too light for me. So I'm either going to be very brave or very foolish, probably the second one. I'm going to use my Dylusions shimmer spray. The thing I love about Dylusions is that it has a very strong pigment element to it. So it does stay nice and dark. And I'm going to use the brush, and I'm just going to kind of go along the edges a little bit with this, just to sort of darken that up. And I'm going to be super duper careful because, as you notice, I don't have my, paper towel. Almost said tissue paper. What the hell am I talking about? Who knows? It's an adventure. Even I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to go very, very careful along the center part here, just to kind of darken that up a little bit. And I'm trying not to leave much in the way of, liquid behind to want to flow down there and get on other pages. Hoping that will help. Although my blood sugar's low, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit that other page at some point. That's fine. This junk journal is supposed to be messy, I keep telling myself. And then just a little bit up here in this part. All right, I think that should be good. She says as she continues to put stuff on there because she's a big liar. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to leave it to dry. Now I'm going to walk away for a minute, and I will come back to you when it's dry. And in theory, this should do it, and we should be able to glue our pages in. Alrighty, so now this is dry, and I am fine with it, even though it's got a little bit lighter spot up here. That's totally fine. So we're going to take this out and unclip this here. And then same over here. We'll remove that and see how these look. So these actually look really good. I'll see there's a little bit on the back of it, but that's fine. These look really good next to these things, so I'm very happy with that. So now we can put our pockets in. So this one's going to go on this side here, so that way it's got the cutout that's opening out. So we're just going to glue it down. Put this out of the way here. Get my Fabri-Tac. I use the Fabri-Tac because it's going to do a nice strong bond for it. We're just going to go around these three sides and glue it down. Then we'll worry about making any kind of journal card or whatever we want for it later on in the process as we're doing our rest of our ephemera. All right, it's in here. There we go. press it down real good. There we are. Now it's sticking. Okay. I like that. That was a really, really good idea to use the Tim Holtz wallpaper for a journal. I never occurred to me. So that is very awesome. Okay, so now we've got that one in, and look at that. That looks great there. I really like that. Okay, let's go to our other page here. Where are you, other page? It's like blinding. I can't miss it. There it is. Okay. And then we have this one here. And see, I like the way it kind of contrasts off of that as well. Oh, I had my stapler down here to hold the page up this way so that any drips would drip away from the page. So same thing. Let's get our Fabri-Tac on here. Put, you know, fairly decent amount. Don't go nuts with it, but don't skimp on it either because of the type of surfaces you're gluing together. It really needs a strong bond, and it needs enough to do its job, basically. Okay, and we will place this one down right about here. And this one's easier because there's fewer pages, so I can press against the back on this one. So yay, there we go. We took care of those problem pages. Now they look completely different, obviously. But this one, you know, with the paint really covered it up. The other one covered it up pretty good too, but... And it'll look nice in here. If somebody goes, you know, looking at it this way, it won't, you know, cut off and be crap from here over, you know. Hate doing that. Don't like leaving it like that. I'd rather do a finish on it and not see it than know it's there, because it'll bother me. All right, so there we go. We've got this page here. And we've got this page here, courtesy of, where'd they go? Tim Holtz Wallpapers. So let me fix my lighting here. Jesus. Got this new shadow over here. I don't want this. Where are you coming from? Anyways, so courtesy of the Worn Wallpapers by Tim Holtz and Gail Agostinelli, who always has the best ideas. So anyways, that was today. So when we come back next time, we're just going to continue working on stuff. We've got oodles and oodles in the basket ephemera business here. So there's going to be lots of stuff to play with. We still got a bunch of tags and journal cards and all kinds of things to do. So, and then of course I want to do some of the envelopes like Roxy Creations did for her challenge. I mean, it's a little late to say they're part of that challenge, but yeah, those are really cool. I've been playing with those with the different journal that I've been working on as well and loving them. So anyways, that's that. So hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, see you guys later. Bye.